So in this video we're going to go over the types of signaling. And so there are four main types of signaling that need to be looked at. So the first is neurocrine. And as you probably guessed, what the neurocrine means is that it's going to be signaling between neurons or nerve cells. So if we look at this drawing right here, we have a nerve cell, and so these are kind of the terminal ends of the nerve cell. And what's going to happen is they're going to have they're going to have signals that they're going to release. So at the base, it has signals or hormones that are going to be released, and they're going to go to the target site or target cell. And in previous classes you probably saw that we have a nerve cell where it has the synaptic terminals, and these neurotransmitters go into the target site that it desires. And so the key thing of neurocrine is it's going to be going from the nerve cell to the target site. And so we are going to go into the synaptic cleft and then from there reach to the target site. It's going to communicate, it's a method of communication between other neurons and non-neuronal cells. So we start from a nerve cell and we're going to go to other types of neurons and non-neuronal cells. And so some of the examples that these signalings are noradrenaline as well as acetylcholine. And you've probably seen this in your general bio classes or any of your other classes. The second is endocrine. And an endocrine is a little bit different than your neurocrine. And an endocrine, we're going to have an endocrine cell. So this is our endocrine cell. And it's going to produce the chemical that's being released. But now the big difference is, unlike the neurocrine, which is kind of a shorter distance because we have the synaptic cleft that we go between, endocrine is going to have to pass through blood vessels to go to the target cell. So we're going to make the target cell a different color so it's a little easier to see. So, as I said, the neurocrine cell the endocrine cell produces these transmitters. The transmitters are going to pass through the blood, and then when they get near the target site, they're going to be released and go to the target site. An example of this is adrenaline, insulin, and steroids. So if we think about it, when we have what we call an adrenaline rush, the endocrine cell is releasing that adrenaline, and all of a sudden we feel it through our muscles, through our body, and we have this rush. And that's because it has to transfer through blood vessels to go to the target sites to release that adrenaline or insulin or steroids. Our third type of signaling is paracrine. And in paracrine signaling, we have our signaling cell, and the signaling cell is going to produce the signal. And unlike endocrine cells, the paracrine cells are going to be in short range. It's going to target neighboring cells. So here are our neighboring cells that it's going to target. And so these individual signals that have been released from the signaling cell are going to basically go to these target cells. And so these target cells are neighboring cells, and they're within proximity. An example of this is histamine. And so histamine is very important when it comes to extravasation. It's, in terms of your sinuses, it's all over that it's important. It's really affecting neighboring cells. It's not going a long distance. And the last one is possibly the easiest one to remember. It's your autocrine cells. And as the name implies, auto means self. So if it's an autocrine cell, what it's going to do is it's going to produce the cells or the signals that are going to act upon itself. So it's producing these cells, the signals. Signals go outside of the target cell, or the producing cell, and go back into the cell itself. So basically it's going to make, secrete, and apply the signal back to itself. An example of this is prostaglandins. So the next couple videos we're going to go over a little more specifics on the different types of signaling. We're going to look at hydrophilic, hydrophobic signaling. We'll look at G protein coupled receptors and a couple other types of receptors. My notes are going to be available in the captions below. Also, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel.